RC.com, presented by Horizon, One Up Racing, and VP Racing. A 45-minute championship final. Down and away. Here we go. It's showtime. 45 minutes of some of the world's best making the trip here to Las Vegas for the iconic 2024 Silver State. A beautiful shot there as they're all flying over the triple, trying to keep pace with your top qualifier, Ryan Mayfield. They come down and step down, nose to tail, follow the leader. A bit of a hiccup there in the step down, but Mayfield doing what he needs to do at the start of this one. Keep the field in his rearview mirror. Two different lines there as they come out of the pit across the start-finish line here for lap number one. It is going to be Rivkin now getting to the front. Then it's going to be Mayfield, Juan Carlos, then Marco Barufalo, your defending champion, from the 9 to the 5 here on lap number one.
Man, Rivkin able to get around Mayfield there through that whoop-de-whoop section. Rivkin taking that tight line around the concrete. Mayfield going all the way out, but you see how far out Rivkin is now over Mayfield. Let's see if he can do this again. Here he comes through the concrete, taking it tight. Mayfield going way outside. Mayfield catching up there on the right side of the track, now down the front straight. So Rivkin got a little bit quicker line that very first lap. Mayfield taking it on the second.
I think the outside berm would be able to carry it wide. You can avoid the first bump going into that whoop section. I think it's the faster line here. We'll see if Rivkin continues with the tight line, or is he going to change his plan as he's got Mayfield now starting to close back in. Rivkin, Mayfield, Juan Carlos, Dakota, and Barufalo, your top five as they come into the concrete corner here. Again, keeping it tight. Mayfield carrying the speed on the outside. Side by side there with Juan Carlos across the line. Advantage Rivkin that lap.
Yeah, Mayfield the only one to go to the outside there. Everybody else took the inside line, which is interesting to see because they're virtually identical. But Rivkin with a 34.8, Mayfield with a 34.9, and Juan Carlos Canas with a 34.8. So let's see if Mayfield can find that 1/10 of a second that he needs here, because that would really check him up on Spencer. They're on the backside of the track now. Let's see what they do here. Rivkin we know is going to go to the inside. Mayfield on the outside. And then Juan Carlos now. So that inside line is working better. Oh, Juan Carlos with a tumble.
Juan Carlos getting it wrong, catching one of the ruts. Rivkin getting it sideways there, having to save it. Mayfield to the inside. Mayfield now to P1 as Rivkin got it a little bit sideways, going to the double. Lost some landing, giving the door opening there to Mayfield. He jumped all over it.
Man, Mayfield saw that coming and went to the inside of that front double right in front of the driver's stand and was able to capitalize on that small mistake there made by Rivkin. So Mayfield now going to be out front. He's taking that outside line again through the whoop-de-whoop section and onto the right. Let's see what it looks like here for their lap times when they come across. So Mayfield official now taking it over 35.2. Rivkin 36.4. Juan Carlos Canas 36.5. Another name to mention, Marco Barufalo, Ryan Lutz, Dakota Finn, Seth. They're all right there. They're not letting Mayfield get too far away with 3 minutes and 15 seconds down.
Rivkin catching a corner there at the top of the step off there. It's going to give Mayfield some breathing room. Rivkin was showing second last time by. That's going to change. Juan Carlos goes into 3, should move up to the 2. Barufalo continuing his climb. He was 5, now he's 4. Lutz is up to the 5 spot. Dakota 6. Van Dalen, Figueredo, Fuller, and Rolls round out your top 10. Mayfield, Juan Carlos, and Lutz now the top 3.
You said something interesting there, Scotty. You said Mayfield and breathing room. That is one thing that they do not want to give Mayfield, because he will check out if you let him. And it was also another interesting thing to see there that time. He did take the outside berm, but then he chose to go right in the middle of that whoop-de-whoop section instead of going to the traditional outside like he normally does. He did it there again. So maybe he's noticing something going way outside. Now here's Dakota Finn that we're following around. Ooh, Dakota Finn getting a little squirrely there. So Dakota Finn now up to the 3, Ryan Lutz to the 4.
So it's Mayfield, Juan Carlos, and Dakota Finn, your top 3. 40 minutes, 30 seconds left to go in this 45-minute championship final. Drivers from all over the world making the trip here to be part of one of the most iconic races in the world of 8-scale championship racing, the Silver State, here in Las Vegas. It is Mayfield in control right now, your top qualifier. He lost it for a lap, able to get it back from Rivkin. Juan Carlos filling his rear view mirrors all over him. They go over the front side double. You see Mayfield. You see Juan Carlos. Dakota Finn getting back in this fight. He dropped down a few spots, but he has worked his way back into the fight. Into the step off they go. Mayfield, Juan Carlos, and Dakota Finn.
Yeah, Ryan Lutz right there, 2 in the 4. Van Dalen in the 5. Figueredo 6. Rivkin 7. Barufalo 8. Caden Fuller 9. Wiggins 10. Cavallari 11. Jonah Wilson 12. Brandon Rose 13. Ronafalk 14. David Olson 15. And bad news for Mason Fuller. Looks like he is out of this one.
Oh, tough luck there for Mason. The clean sweeper of the electric. He won Truggy and Buggy in pro electric classes. Not his day here in Nitro. Right now it's Mayfield, Juan Carlos, Dakota, Brian Lutz, and Seth Van Dalen, your top 5. We follow Mayfield here in the back section of the raceway. He's got Juan Carlos just a little bit behind. Into the pit they go, around the concrete corner. Mayfield a wide line. Everybody else taking a tight line. They close up on Mayfield this time. Catching that little rut coming on to the straightaway. Through the rut they go. Mayfield and Juan Carlos over the double, now squaring up for the triple.
Yeah, Juan Carlos looking to the inside a couple of times there on Mayfield. Mayfield taking it wide, but when he does take it wide, he's able to carry the speed on those wide turns, which allows him to kind of just rock it out in front. Those other guys are looking for the inside pass there like Juan Carlos just did on that 180 after that front double. Oh, Mayfield didn't do the berm this time. He chose to do the inside on the concrete section. And now Juan Carlos really checking up on his bumper here. Now here they come through that double again. Let's see what Mayfield does. So Mayfield didn't do the wide turn that time. Juan Carlos following his line all the way through that turn.
Coming up to the step up here. Mayfield, Juan Carlos, Dakota. Last year's winner, Barufalo, having a tough lap, dropping all the way down to the 9 spot a couple laps ago. He's got a big hill to climb. We stay with our leader coming into the pit here around the concrete corner. Again, they're taking the inside line. Mayfield adapting his strategy here, watching what his competitors are doing. Mayfield slamming the door on Juan Carlos. Juan Carlos hard on the brakes here at the end of the straightaway. It's still going to be nose to tail, first and second. Mayfield, Juan Carlos, Fenn, Lutz, Spencer Rivkin now up to P5.
Yeah, it's interesting to see here because it looks like Mayfield has the advantage on the left side of the track, Juan Carlos on the right side of the track. So whatever Mayfield's doing over there, he's got a better line. He can go faster, but then Juan Carlos quickly checks up on him on this right side. So Juan Carlos through the concrete and through the whoop-de-whoops has Mayfield's number on that. So Mayfield got to figure it out. And like you said, Scotty, he's adapting his strategy to try to figure out what everybody else is doing because that berm line just isn't working for him here in Nitro Buggy.
37:15 on the race clock. It is Mayfield in control, 34.555 lap. He's got a hot lap at 34.2. Juan Carlos had a 34.0. Only driver in a 33-second lap time, Dakota Fenn by a lot, 33.88 lap for Dakota. 8 minutes down. Now, when is it going to be? It's 7.5. Is it going to be 8.5? Is it going to be 9 or more? Juan Carlos coming in here at 8:12. He gets called in.
We're going to stick with Mayfield here. Mayfield staying out. This is what we were talking about earlier, Scotty, is what is Mayfield's strategy going to be? Yesterday in Nitro Truck, it was 9 minutes. So when he gets done with this lap, it's going to put him right around the 9-minute mark. So it's going to be interesting to see if he comes in here. Looks like Dakota Finn stayed out as well. So Dakota Finn going to try to extend those lap times too. And this is all going to add up towards the end of the race when Ryan Mayfield, Dakota Finn don't have to do that extra pit stop. Let's see. Oh, he's staying out again, Scotty.
He is. He's going to continue at the 8:48 mark right now. Looks like rest of the guys getting ready. Looks like Sean Van Dalen is going to bring him in. Sean is there with the gun, ready to go. Seth is up on the blocks. Fresh tanker racing fuel down and away. Good stop. Looks like Brandon Rose getting ready to come in for service.
We talked to Ryan Mayfield yesterday during his interview. He said that he had a new pipe engine combo that he was trying, and it seems to be working for him. We're at 9:15 right now. Let's see if he's coming in here. And he is. So Mayfield in at 9 minutes, 23 seconds. Loud Dakota Finn staying out there. You see that, Scott? He's still out.
Absolutely he is. So he's going to try to go one more lap. Man, oh man, the strategy these guys are thinking. No doubt Trury is checking how much fuel he had left in the gun to see where he can go. We just saw a beautiful stop there from Lee Setzer down there as he was on the gun. and the pick and the grab. So we'll see if Dakota's going to come in this time. You have to think he has to. He's in second. We'll see the order. 35 minutes to go. We are 10 minutes complete.
Yeah,
as they come across the line.
Dakota Finn going to come across the line first there. Oh, he was in and out. Look, he's right back there now in the third place position behind Juan Carlos. So that definitely worked for Dakota Finn. He was able to stay out one more lap. You can see him. 1, 2, and Juan Carlos with some problems there. Dakota Finn getting around for that number 2 position.
Good job by Juan Carlos. He rejoined where he crashed. A lot of times, especially on a big hilly area like that, you'll see the driver just cut to the inside and wait. He followed the rules very well, so well done there from Juan Carlos Canas.
You'll wonder if Mayfield, now that he doesn't have Juan Carlos pushing him, taking that inside strategy, if he will go back to the outside strategy of the berm. But now he's going to have Dakota Finn right behind him.
Dakota Finn right behind him. Drive orange and blue TLR out front. Paint job, everybody knows. His 8-scale scheme, a little bit lighter, a little bit wider, is Mayfield rocking his Techno. Both drivers on J Concepts tires. We got 34 minutes to go. Dakota inside, Mayfield outside. Dakota closes back in now through that section. Oh, Dakota carrying some power down the straightaway. Big wheelie coming out of the ruts. Closes in 2, maybe 3 car lengths. Squaring up for the triple. Juan Carlos sitting back behind it. Oh, Dakota on 2 wheels. Oh, Dakota, but the marshal was absolutely right there. Going to keep him in the fight.
So here comes Mayfield. Mayfield came in at about 9:20 or so we're going to be looking for him around the 18:40 mark to come back in and pit. Dakota Finn was able to stay out one more lap, so that could play into a big strategy coming up later. Dakota Finn was right there on Mayfield's bumper, but now Juan Carlos Canas now checking back into the second place spot. Ryan Lutz 4, Rivkin our top 5.
33 minutes to go here. We're 12 minutes into this championship 45-minute final. Oh, trouble in the back. Oh, my, upside down. Oh, and he punched the throttle to Marshall there. Big mistake. That is going to change it around here. Now dropping him way back with 32.45. The first kink into his armor. As they're coming across the start-finish line, Juan Carlos Canas to the point. Dakota Finn going to go 2. Mayfield goes 3. Lutz still going to be 4. And Spencer Rivkin rounds out your top 5.
Man, Juan Carlos now able to take over after that small mistake there by Ryan Mayfield. The rarity that he does, but it's going to allow Juan Carlos to now be in that first place position. Dakota Finn right behind him. As you see him coming through here, looks like Juan Carlos and Dakota Finn choosing to take that exact same line. Oh, Dakota Finn getting a little squirrely through the whoop-de-whoops there, but Juan Carlos able to go through smooth. Now they're going to have some traffic coming up as they come through the middle of the track here.
It's amazing at this level of the race. 16 of the best still coming up on traffic here. 13 minutes into this race. Juan Carlos, Dakota Finn, Ryan Mayfield, Ryan Lutz, Rivkin, Van Dalen, Figueredo, Barufalo, Cavalieri, and David Ronafog round out your top 10 as Dakota Finn trying to find a way by Juan Carlos Canas.
So Juan Carlos did pit early. Juan Carlos pit around the 8-minute mark, and Dakota Finn pitted around the 10-minute mark. So that means that Juan Carlos is going to come in here in the next 2-ish minutes. Oh, Dakota Finn on his lid there.
Man, Juan Carlos keeping it clean. That's what it's going to take. Dakota with his second small mistake, second rollover here of the race. You can see the gap he lost on Juan Carlos. So Juan Carlos, like you said, going to be coming in before Dakota. Let's see if he's going to be able to come in and out and stay in front of Fend.
Yeah, Juan Carlos running a phenomenal race right now, just clicking off consistent laps. His last lap of 35.1. Let's see what he does here when he comes across the start-finish line of 34.3. So improves by over half a second there, does Juan Carlos, and that's exactly what he needs to do. He needs to pick the clean lines and stay consistent and let these other guys just kind of fall back even further and further every time he crosses that finish line.
30 minutes and 30 seconds ago. Juan out front, Dakota second, followed by Ryan Spencer, Ryan Mayfield down at a 5. Van Dalen goes 6, Figueredo 7, Barufalo, Cavalier, and Ronafalk. 30-20 to go. These guys putting on a display of amazing driving here at the 2024 Silver State on liverc.com, presented by Horizon Hobby, One Up Racing, and VP Racing. Juan Carlos in control right now with 30 minutes to go.
Yeah, as we say that, Juan Carlos with a 34.7 on that. Dakota Finn with a 34.1. So you can see Dakota Finn starting to catch up to him again. Juan Carlos on the right side of the track right before the straight went real wide into the fluff. I'm not sure if maybe he saw a rut there and decided to avoid that. Let's see what he does here. Yeah, he's doing it again. So, oh, here he comes in for fuel.
All right, like next round of pit stops starting to happen here.
And he's out of the pit.
Everybody making plans for their next stop here.
I mean, Juan Carlos is in. Dakota Finn's still got a couple of more minutes before he's going to have to come in if he continues that 9+ minute strategy. I know that Mayfield came in at about 9:25. Dakota Finn did a complete another lap, so Dakota Finn came in around the 10-minute mark. So if that's the case, Dakota Finn's still got 4.5 more minutes before he's going to have to come in for fuel. So Dakota Finn going to take over now, and Dakota Finn going to have about a 5 or 6 second lead now on Juan Carlos.
We're going to see next time by here after the pit stop cycle through. 28:45 on the clock here in his 45-minute final. Dakota, Juan Carlos, Rivkin. See the pit lane there in the bottom of your corner. These guys are going to come in as we pick up Dakota Finn through the whoop section. Onto the straight. There's a big rut. They're going to have to avoid it. He does. Hard on the binders here at the end. Pitches it sideways, squares up for the double nicely. 28:30 to go here. Finn, Juan Carlos, Rivkin now to the 3.
Dakota Finn with a 34.4 on that last lap. Juan Carlos with a 35.5. So Dakota Finn able to stretch it out by about a second on Juan Carlos. Right now, Dakota Finn with about a 4-second lead. So Dakota Finn's going to have to come in for fuel here in about 2 or 3 minutes, which will be a 6 or 7 second fuel stop, which will allow Juan Carlos to move back into that first place spot if he can hold on to this pace.
Dakota Finn that time by 34.7 for Juan Carlos. Rivkin with a 35.4. Mayfield with a 34.9. Lutz with a 34.7. Van Dalen 34.7. Barufalo 34.5. Marco up to the 7th spot now as your defending champion. Figueredo 37.2. Cavalieri 34.4. Ronnefolk 34.5. 27.5 minutes to go here in our Pro Nitro Buggy. A main at the 2024 Silver State. Dakota Finn a little bit sideways on that rut. Still going to maintain the lead.
Yeah, Dakota Finn got the hot lap out there so far, 33.8. So Dakota Finn, the fastest driver on the track, clicks off a 34.4 on that one. Juan Carlos also with the 34.4, so virtually identical lap times for those two drivers. So Dakota Finn going to have to just keep it smooth and consistent and try to keep clicking those tenths off. Currently about 4.5 seconds up on Juan Carlos, but Dakota Finn going to have to come in here in the next minute or two and get fuel, which is going to cost him.
All right, Dakota will check his lap time this time by as he comes across the start-finish line at 34.9 lap. Juan Carlos last lap, 34.8. The gap right now, 3.7 seconds between our top two. Rivkin 3, Mayfield now to the 4. Mayfield now to the 3. Rivkin drops down to the 5 spot with a 40.5. Assuming the pit stops here as everybody's on a little bit of different strategy. Finn in control of this one, 26:30 to go.
Yeah, Mayfield about 6 seconds back here from Juan Carlos Canas. Mayfield probably going to be coming here anytime for fuel, maybe even this lap. We're about to find out, but Dakota Finn staying out again. 19 minutes has gone by in this race. We got 26 minutes left to go.
Dakota Finn almost had it crossed up going to the double, but he able to save it. Looking smooth here, up to the left side, step up and step off. You see the car just bucking around. There's so many ruts that are out there. We got 26 minutes to go, 19 minutes complete. 45-minute final here at the Silver State. Everybody looks forward to this race. Some of the best in the world going at it here is Dakota Finn. Up and down. Dakota Finn coming in for fuel right now. He's up. Down. A fresh tank of fuel, making sure it's full. Good stop down there. Juan Carlos right there. Dakota having to check up a little bit. So excellent stop, but not quick enough.
Yeah, Juan Carlos able to take that #1 spot here, but Dakota Finn has got that extra pit stop in his back pocket now on Juan Carlos that he is going to have to take eventually in this race. Dakota Finn last time with a 35.4 and Juan Carlos with a 34.3. This lap's going to be long for Dakota Finn because he had the fuel stop, but the point is he is right there. And Juan Carlos is going to have to make one extra pit stop that Dakota Finn does not have to do.
A little bit of traffic here in front and behind of our leaders. Just past a 25-minute to go, 20 minutes complete in this 45-minute final. An amazing drive right now. Juan Carlos, Dakota Finn. Lutz now goes to the 3. Rivkin 4, Van Dalen 5, Mayfield 6, Cavalieri 7, Runnefolk 8, Figueiredo 9, Barufalo. Round out your top 10 as they come around the concrete corner. Barufalo and Fenn across the start-finish line. See them both sawing at the wheel.
Yeah, Juan Carlos out here in front. They got some traffic right behind him, so those are not for position. Right now, it's just Juan Carlos and Dakota Finn. Spencer Rivkin in that #3, but Spencer Rivkin about 6 seconds back from the #2 Dakota Finn. So these two, what happened to Dakota Finn here? I don't know where he...
24 minutes to go in this one. Juan Carlos out front. There's Dakota, a big whip. Trouble here, going to separate him a little bit. Here comes Juan Carlos across the start-finish line. Here comes Dakota Finn. Dakota Finn losing some time there with a 36.7 lap. Lost a couple seconds. More traffic here for Dakota. They yield forward to Finn. So Juan Carlos now with a few seconds of breathing room on the field. 23.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, Dakota Finn lost a couple of seconds there, and those are precious seconds he doesn't want to give to Juan Carlos. That is for sure. Juan Carlos, a 34.2. Dakota Finn, a 36.7. Oh, not sure what was going on there. But Ryan Lutz in the 3, Rivkin 4, Van Dalen 5, Mayfield 6, Cavalieri 7, Ronnefolk 8, Figueiredo 9, Marco Barufalo, our top 10.
Juan Carlos last time by 33.9, Dakota 34.5. The gap was 2.6 seconds last time by. Juan Carlos out front leading the way. We're at 23 minutes to go. Quickly coming up on our halfway mark already. It's amazing how quick time flies when we're watching some of the best in the world go at it here, head to head in Las Vegas. Across the start finish line goes Canas. We'll check the gap here. Fend across the line, 34.6, 34.5, almost identical laps. Juan Carlos looking money there on the lander. More traffic in front of him. These guys make it look so easy and effortless. Katie Roxbury there on the grab there for Wiggins. He's down and away. Big roost in the fluff there from Juan Carlos.
Juan Carlos out front here. Dakota Finn in the 2. Here's Juan Carlos through the whoop-de-whoops onto the right side now. Let's see what his lap. Oh, is he coming? He's coming in for fuel here. So Juan Carlos in for fuel. He's down and he's out. What a great pit stop there for Juan Carlos. It's exactly what he needed. Not sure where Dakota Finn, if he was able to get around or not, but Dakota Finn going to be able to catch up pretty good with Juan Carlos having to come into the pits there.
Yes, Dakota Finn did get by, and he's got that run time advantage over Juan Carlos. We're going to hit the 21.5 minute mark as they come around this time by. Halfway there in this one, into our 45-minute championship final. It's Juan Carlos, Fenn, Rivkin, Van Dalen, Mayfield, Cavalieri, Ronnefolk, Figueiredo, Barufalo, Lutz, Rose, Wiggins, Wilson, Fuller, Olsen, and Fuller.
Oh, it's good to see Mason Fuller making it back out there and catching back up. He's on lap 37. Juan Carlos is on lap 40 here. Here's Dakota Finn in the orange and blue up onto the tabletop, trying to catch back up to Juan Carlos. You can see Juan Carlos right there just exiting the screen, both on the backside of the track. Dakota Finn just able to send it off of there. The speed that he has is incredible. Here they come through the double-doubles and onto the right side of the track. Let's see what the times look like here. Juan Carlos 34.6, Dakota Finn 34.5. So Dakota Finn shaving off a 10th off of his deficit from Juan Carlos.
20.4. Wondering, Lutz dropping all the way down. I wonder if he had a fuel problem coming in, if ran out of fuel. We pick up Rivkin here. Lutz had that problem in the Philippines. So I don't know what the problem was. Tough luck there. He was running very, very consistent. JQ down there on the gun for the Lutz team. 20:15 to go. It's Juan Carlos, followed by Dakota, followed by Spencer, followed by Seth. Ryan, 20 minutes to go. .20 on the clock right now. Juan Carlos Canas out front. Dakota Fenn second, just a second behind. What an amazing race we got going on. Everybody looking forward to this. The stands are packed here in Las Vegas. 2024 is the year we are here. A record entry. Drivers from all around the world. Silver State here in Las Vegas. Juan Carlos, Fenn, Rivkin, Mayfield, and Seth Van Dalen now into the top 5.
Yeah, here's an interesting time that you might not know about, Scotty, is Rivkin is now only 4 seconds back. So he was 6, now 4. So Rivkin slowly closing in on our top 2 drivers here as he makes his way around the track. But we're watching Juan Carlos and Dakota Fenn as they come around through the front side double up over in front of the driver's stand here. Juan Carlos is just almost making this look effortless, not making any mistakes, keeping his lines tight, and that's what he's got to do here to keep Dakota Fenn from catching him.
Amazing drive going on. Juan Carlos, Dakota, Spencer, followed by Ryan and Seth Van Dalen, your top 5. Joe Figueiredo started 16th from the bump up to 6th spot for Figueiredo.
Yeah, Juan Carlos now right behind Ronafalk, so Juan Carlos lapping up to the number 6 spot here. As he comes over the triple, you'll see David Ronafalk come into view up onto the tabletop. So here comes Juan Carlos down that step up. I mean, just his lines are so tight. He drives through all these ruts like it's no big deal. So, he's just in control of this and just keeping his mental game smooth, his driving game smooth, and most importantly, his lap time smooth.
Juan Carlos last lap 34.1, Dakota 34.1.
18 minutes left to go. Anything can happen here in a Nitro Buggy race. So, Juan Carlos in control now, but you never know. But let's just hope. Oh, he's up on 2 wheels there. When you got guys like Dakota Fenn, Rivkin, Mayfield, Seth Van Dalen, all these drivers, anything can go wrong. But that's also what to be said about Juan Carlos Canas out front, clicking off 34-second lap times. Dakota Fenn with a 38 on the last one. Rivkin with a 39. So, Juan Carlos in control.
Juan Carlos out front leading the way. We'll check the gap between him and Dakota. This time by 5.23 seconds. Juan, a little bit of a whip there. Juan Carlos in control. We pick up Dakota Fenn here over the center. Triple E goes. Fenn to that quick right-hander down the hill, coming up to the step up and a step off. Up the hill he climbs. Tough section, farthest part away from the driver's stand. Through the rut to the inside of that rut. Around a concrete corner, tries a wide line, slides it around there, trying to keep some speed up to get through the whoops. Juan Carlos last lap 35.1, Dakota Fenn 34.8. So Fenn chipping away 3/10 on that 5.2 second lead that Juan Carlos had. More traffic here in front of Dakota.
About a 5.5 second gap here between 1 and 2. Juan Carlos and Dakota Fenn, and then Spencer Rivkin about 7 seconds back from Dakota Fenn. So these guys kind of spacing out here. Dakota Fenn really needs to find some tight lines and stay out of those nasty craters there, and he can catch up. He's proven it here. 34.8 on that last one, so he ran a couple of here comes Fenn in for fuel.
All right, Fenn is in, pinballing off the walls. Mike Sontag making an adjustment or something on the wing, or maybe shocks, who knows, couldn't see from here. Dakota with a good stop down there. We'll check the gap now as they come across the start-finish line. Going to be even a little bit greater gap here between Juan Carlos and Dakota.
Oh, here's Rivkin.
And they came out together, Rivkin in third, so this is the battle. Juan Carlos across the line right now. He's got a good lead, but he's going to have to come in for another stop pretty soon. He was about a minute and a half shorter than these guys. Dakota Fenn right now 10.9 is the gap for Juan Triple C. out front. 15.20 seconds left to go in this 45-minute final. Great to have everybody following along here on liverz.com from around the world. Over 2,000 people watching right now live from Las Vegas. Presented here by Horizon Hobby, One Up Racing, and VP Racing, bringing you coverage of the 2024 Silver State Pro Nitro Buggy A Final. We got Dakota Fenn across the line this time by 34.3. Rivkin behind him, 34.5, 34.7 for your leader, Juan Carlos Canas.
Yeah, we're watching the battle here for second and third between Finn and Rivkin. Rivkin not letting him get away at all. I'm not sure what Rivkin's pit strategy was, but another thing that we got to note here is Dakota Fenn just ran about a half a second faster than Juan Carlos did on that last lap, and Juan Carlos is going to have to come in for fuel very soon here, whereas Dakota Fenn just did, and he's going to be able to stay out for a lot longer.
14:20 to go. Juan Carlos, Dakota, Rivkin, Mayfield, Seth Van Dalen, Figueredo, Barufalo, Ronafolk, Lutz, and Rose, your top 10 now. 14:10 to go. And over to step up he goes. A little bit of traffic. All right, your leader has just come in for his fuel stop. So we will check the gap this time by. Juan Carlos last lap is a 34.6, 39.4 is for a good stop for him. Dakota Fenn across the line, 3.4 seconds now as Juan Carlos just came in for service. 13:40 left to go in this one. This one far from over, ladies and gentlemen. Championship final here, Pro Nitro Buggy. It is Juan Carlos Canas leading the way.
Rivkin not letting Dakota Fenn get away here. We're watching Dakota Fenn up on the back all over there. As soon as I said it, Rivkin with a little mistake there. Dakota Fenn in the orange and blue with the yellow wheels. Rivkin behind him in the silver. So let's see here. Dakota Fenn 34.2 on the last one. 34.9 on that. Rivkin 34.5. So Dakota Fenn just a little bit further out, but Rivkin not going to let him get away. Mayfield now to the number 4. Seth Van Dalen in the 5.
Juan Carlos Canas making a trip here from Spain, rocking the S-Works. Out front leading the way. Second spot, Dakota Fenn into TLR. Third spot is going to be the Associated Spencer Rivkin. 12:45 to go. Through the whoops, we follow Dakota Fenn. There's Juan Carlos across the line. Here's Dakota Fenn trying, sawing at the wheels. He comes onto the straightaway. 34.7 to a 34.6. Nearly identical lap times, just a couple seconds apart.
Yeah, Dakota Fenn coming up over that triple. Dakota Fenn carries a lot of speed down that step down, and now here he is up on the tabletop. Doesn't want to let Rivkin get too close. They're about a tenth of a second faster on the last lap was Dakota Fenn. And Rivkin only about a second and a half back. But now Dakota Fenn only 3 seconds behind Juan Carlos. So Dakota Fenn slowly chipping away at that lead that Juan Carlos has.
The gap this time by about 4 seconds. We're on Juan Carlos Canas in the S-Works out front. We got 33 down, 12 minutes to go. Juan Carlos looking good. And the step down he goes. Coming up over the backside. Over that big speed bump. Down around the corner, keeping it tight. Title in the middle seat in coach. Hugging the pipe as he comes in.
Juan Carlos through that whoop-de-whoop section. 34.5 on the last one. 34.2 on that one. Juan Carlos needs a whole bunch of those because he can just really check out here on Dakota Fenn. Dakota Fenn with a 34.6. So Juan Carlos about a half a second faster on that one. Puts Dakota Fenn to about 5 seconds back now.
Amazing drive right now from Juan Carlos. Negotiating this very, very difficult racetrack. Into the back he goes. Again, a tight line right there. A little bit of traffic in front of him. Slides it around the concrete corner. Perfect line coming out of the whoops. Onto the straightaway he goes. Last time by 34.2. This time by 34.4. We'll check Dakota Fenn. Dakota Fenn across the line, 34.2. Showing about 6.5 seconds. The gap between Juan Carlos, Dakota. Rivkin behind him. Mayfield and Seth Van Dalen round out your top 5. Just under 11 minutes to go in this 45-minute final.
Juan Carlos Canas doing a fantastic job with this run that he's put together here. He's about 10 minutes and 30 seconds left, so he's definitely going to have to stop one more time for fuel. We'll see when he comes in. He may even have to do 2 stops depending on what he chooses to do. But here he comes up over that big double in front of the driver's stand, and now over the big triple. So Juan Carlos 34-7. Rivkin now taking over the number 2 spot, 35-7. So Rivkin up to the 2. Dakota Fenn falls to the number 3.
Juan Carlos last lap 34-7. We're picking up the battle here between Fenn and Rivkin. Rivkin, Fenn right behind him. We're at 10 minutes to go, 10 minutes left. Juan Carlos out front. Second spot, Rivkin, Fenn, Mayfield, Van Dalen.
Looks like
trouble here. Marshall trying to get out of the way.
Yeah, Marshall had to. Rivkin had a car out in front of him, head on with it, flipped over. Marshall was there to rescue him. Oh, Rivkin in the pipe. But then Dakota Fenn came up and ran over the Marshall's foot and flipped over, looked like. Oh, another more trouble for Dakota Fenn.
9:15 to go. Juan Carlos across the start-finish line. We'll check the gap now. It is growing here between them and Fenn and Rivkin. Through the whoops they go across the start-finish line, this time by Dakota Fenn second, showing as a trouble at the end of the straightaway, trouble into pit lane, trouble everywhere. Cole Tollard was there, the marshal.
Yeah, it looks like Rivkin's got even more trouble now with Ryan Mayfield checking up on him. So
Brandon
Mayfield
Rose
back in the mix here.
Brandon Rose down and away, a good stop there for him. 8:40 to go. Juan Carlos Canas in control right now of this championship final. Eight and a half minutes to go. We're going to go to the TLR instant replay right now. Oh, big crash. Oh, no, contact right there. Dakota gets into the Marshall there. Oh, Marshall trying to get there. Thankfully, he's all right. 8 minutes to go in this one.
Was that Mayfield on Rivkin there?
It is 8 minutes to go here in our Pro Nitro Buggy A main. It is Juan Carlos Canas from Spain leading the way. Last time by 34.5. Dakota Fenn 34.7. Spencer at 37.0 with that tough lap. Then Mayfield and Van Dalen. 7.5 on the clock. Juan Carlos that time by 34.4. Fenn to 34.7. 7:20 to go.
That looks like Spencer Rivkin with a broken shock right there.
It does. We saw it a couple of laps ago. Something. It was from that contact with that tumbling car. Rivkin trying to salvage it. That was a hard crash. They were flat out into it. Now the final round of pit stops happening here. Everything on the line. 7 minutes on the clock.
Mayfield getting around Rivkin there. That buggy must be hard to drive. So Mayfield getting around Rivkin for the number 3 spot. Man, tough break there for Spencer Rivkin. He had that big wreck in the TLR instant replay that we showed, and he looks like he broke a shock.
6.5 minutes on the race clock. Juan Carlos Canas in control. Dakota Fenn is second. Mayfield now to the 2 spot. Dakota Fenn, a 46.7 lap for Dakota Fenn. Something happened to Fenn. Mayfield to the 2. He's been sitting back in the 4 and 5 spot. 6:18 left on the clock. Juan Carlos now in control. Juan Carlos with a 40.3. I think he was in for his final stop.
Yeah, Juan Carlos way out front here. He's just going to put this thing on cruise control for the last 6 minutes, but we're watching Mayfield come through the whoop-de-whoops in the number 2 position. Here he comes down the front straight. Mayfield taking advantage of whatever was going on with Rivkin's car, getting around him and letting him get into the number 2 spot here in the Pro Nitro Buggy.
5:45 to go. Juan Carlos Canas out front, a commanding lead. He comes across the start-finish line, this time by with a 35.2 second lap. We pick him up there on the double. What an amazing drive for him. as we're coming up 5.5. Mayfield showing into 2. Fend into 3. Mayfield yet to complete lap 67. The gap now continues to grow. Here's Mayfield coming across the line, this time by 37.3. It is a 19-second lead for Juan Carlos Canas. An amazing drive for the Spaniard.
Yeah, he is in control of this race for sure. 35.2 on the last lap, 34.6. So he is not slowing down at all. The last 5 minutes here in the Pro Nitro Buggy, Juan Carlos leading the majority of it, and he is looking fantastic out there, picking all the right lines and making all the good lap times.
5 minutes to go here, 40 minutes in the books already. Everybody anticipating this race all weekend. Starting third on the grid, Juan Carlos looking impressive out there. Mayfield right now about 19 seconds back. Then it's Fenn, Ripken, and Van Dalen, your top 5. Juan Carlos over the double he goes. Pretty much clean track right now. Maybe one car in front of him here in the next couple laps. Mayfield, then Fenn, Ripken, and Van Dalen. 4:15 left to go. We pick up Dakota Fenn coming across the start-finish line. Right behind Mayfield, the fight for second spot. These guys about a half a lap right now behind Juan Carlos. Juan Carlos on cruise mode as these guys fight hot and heavy for the podium spots of second and third.
Mayfield on the last one, 34.3. Dakota Fenn, 34.2. Here they come up onto the backside of the track. Let's see what they can do here. I'm interested to still see if Ryan Mayfield goes back to the old strategy, way outside, high on the berm there. Dakota Fenn goes to the inside. So let's see what it looks like here. 35 flat for Mayfield, 35 flat for Dakota Fenn. So virtually identical laps there for both of those drivers.
3:30 to go on the race clock here as his championship final slowly comes to an end. Juan Carlos in control. Mayfield and Fenn still going at it. Coming into the backside, they go. Up to the little roller there, down the hill. Coming up to the concrete corner. Mayfield goes wide, Fenn to the inside. Mayfield carrying that momentum. Fenn getting a good launch out of the whip section. They both getting cattywampus coming out of the straightaway. We got 42 down, 3 minutes to go.
Ripken in the 4, Van Dalen 5, Barupolo 6, Figueiredo 7, Lutz 8, Brandon Rose 9, Ronafalk 10, Wiggins 11, Cavallari 12, Caden Fuller 13, Jonah Wilson 14, Mason Fuller 15, and David Olson in our 16th spot.
Juan Carlos last lap 34.8, Mayfield at 34.3, Fenn to 34.5. Juan Carlos nearly a half a lap is the gap. 2.5 minutes to go. Great qualifying for him. Put him third on a grid, and he's done absolutely everything right in this one. Juan Carlos, last lap, 34.8. Mayfield and Fenn still continue that fight. They're just a few car lengths apart. 2:15 left to go.
Oh, mistake there for Mayfield. Dakota able to check up on him. Dakota made a small mistake right before Mayfield did and gave Mayfield just a tiny little bit of breathing room. But now with that one, getting sideways on that step up there, Dakota Fenn able to get right back up onto his bumper as they come through the whoop-de-whoops.
What a drift corner there for Dakota Fenn. Nailed it absolutely right there. Closes back in on Mayfield now with 1:45 to go. Juan Carlos out front. We stay with this hot and heavy battle for the 2 spot. Mayfield and Fenn. Mayfield rocking the techno. Right behind him in that orange and blue TLR, Dakota Fenn. Into the backside of the racetrack they go. Just sending it down the hill. Dakota, full punch there, just sliding it around. To the concrete corner again, Fenn. Trying to go to the inside. He gets a good run here. He's going to try the outside there. Can't do it. Into the fluff. A drag race. Hard on the binders. Mayfield slamming the door on Dakota Fenn.
Man, 1:10 left to go. Dakota Fenn sure did give him a run there on that front straightaway. But Ryan Mayfield able to keep him from getting around him there. So 1 minute now. Juan Carlos Canas out front. Ryan Mayfield 2, Dakota Fenn 3, Seth Van Dalen 4, and Spencer Ripken 5. We're watching Dakota Fenn here in the orange and blue. Mayfield right in front of him. This is the battle for second and third. But the story here is about Juan Carlos Canas with 45 seconds left to go.
Juan Carlos here, 40 seconds now on the race clock. These guys battling for second spot, but what an amazing drive here for Juan Carlos. qualifying third in the S-Works, making a trip over here from Spain. Last year was Barufalo taking a win here, coming here to America, upsetting the Americans, and now we are poised here for another European to come and take the big win here at one of the most legendary races in all of the world. We're at 15 seconds to go. The battle continues here for the battle for second. 10 seconds to go. Juan Carlos Canas out front, leading the way, a half a lap away from victory. He comes to the backside of the racetrack, an absolutely brilliant drive, racing against some of the world's best. His final decision about to be made. Is it going to be paper or plastic? Because this one's in the bag. Your Pro Nitro Buggy Silver State Champion, Juan Carlos Canas. The battle here for second rages on. Mayfield in front, going toe-to-toe here to the finish line. As they come around the line, second spot to the line is going to go to Mayfield. Third is going to go to Dakota Fan.
Man, Juan Carlos just put on the race of his life. Was about 15 seconds up on Mayfield, who was in second place. Dakota Finn third place. So man, what a great race. Mayfield and Dakota Finn battling out there. I mean, who picked that? Who had Juan Carlos Canas, Ryan Mayfield, and Dakota Finn in their top three? Yeah, congrats Juan and S-Works. Great weekend. Yeah, geez. Great race there. Seth Van Dalen 4, Barufalo 5, Lutz 6, Figueiredo 7, Rivkin 8, Ronnefolk 9, B. Rose 10, Wiggins 11, Cavalieri 12, Fuller 13, Jonah Wilson 14, Fuller 15, and Olson in the 16. Tough break there for Spencer Rivkin too. Spencer Rivkin was all the way up on the podium spots and had some unfortunate luck with lap traffic. Hit him, his shock broke, and man, just an unfortunate thing for Spencer Rivkin. I mean, he was right there, and he could have definitely been on the podium, but you know, I guess that's just what happens here in racing, and broke a shock or broke something on the front. Not really sure what happened, but Juan Carlos Canas out front, got out front about quarter of the way through the race, and then never looked back. I know we talked a lot about pit strategy with Ryan Mayfield and Dakota Finn, but at the end of the day, none of that even mattered because Juan Carlos Canas had such a commanding lead on the rest of this field that it wouldn't have mattered if they didn't have to pit at all, because 15 seconds was his advantage there when they crossed that start-finish line. So Juan Carlos Canas, the Silver State Indoor Championship champion of 2024 of Pro Nitro Buggy. What an incredible performance by Juan Carlos. Great job by Ryan Mayfield. Ryan Mayfield had some adversity there, was down to the 6th or 7th spot at one point and battled his way back all the way up to the number 2 spot here at Pro Nitro Buggy. Dakota Finn also had some adversity too and was able to maintain the number 3. Seth Van Dalen in the 4. Barufalo, our reigning defending champ, starting in 9, ended in position 5. Brian Lutz in the 6, Figueiredo 7. We already talked about Rivkin and how he had some problems there and man. But anyway, let's send it out to Scotty. He's got our winners.
All right, thank you very much, Matt. We are here with your champion, Juan Carlos Canas. A 45-minute race, an absolutely amazing drive. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it was super hard doing 45 minutes here. It's hard. I think the most hard final I need to drive because you need to follow always the line and everything. Need super focus, but I'm super happy. Yeah.
Is this one of the hardest racetracks that you've ever raced on?
Yeah, like DNC. Yeah, similar. Yeah. but the hardest, yes.
Oh, for sure. Now, you've won a European championship. Is this as big, one of your biggest wins?
Yeah, it's a big win also like European Championship. Yeah, so I'm really, really happy. Yeah.
What tires did you end up racing here in the final?
Finally, I use Reflex Green. All people are running Cosmos, but I make a risk and put Reflex because I tried on the warm-up and was really good. So I decided to put, and finally works really good.
Well, congratulations. You want to say something to your friends and family back home in Spanish?
Bueno, si hay alguien viendo que nada, estoy muy contento y ya está. Llegaré para la casa el martes por ahí.
All right. Anybody you would like to thank?